in stage 2. I think we're 5-0 on this map, and we're incredibly strong on their attack side, which is where they're going to be starting. So I definitely do think that this is going to be a very difficult battle for Nova, but I like the fact that they're coming in with a fairly unique look at the map. Like I think the Neon, especially if you play around a lot of these mid angles, the stuns can be quite nasty. It's very tight in some of the angles, and we've seen it a long while ago. I think it was even like Defo or someone used to play Neon on this map. So I'm interested to see what they've got, and the Teo as well. Again, something that's fallen out of the meta a little bit, but I still get excited when I see it picked.
Yeah.
That didn't sound like something.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not 1,000,000% with you, but you know, it's good that you're getting excited, Tom. I always like to see that. G2 on their way towards this A site, and well, Icebox is going to have quite a task to stay alive as the Flood comes in. Heaven Control going to be covered off by Amy as they wrap themselves around. Nice flash, but Akita is the one to draw that opening duel in G2's favor. And they've got all their bases covered towards main. 2 players sitting and waiting there. The question is, I think for G2 at this point, with how spread they are, they almost want to take a fight, but then you have that double up down below in the drop. This is a nasty little spot, especially considering the super late play from Vanya. She should be able to do a ton if there's anyone left to be picked up.
It didn't matter from this point onwards. Alyssa completely surrounded, and G2 are going to get themselves off to a strong start in the pistol. It's definitely a composition as well that I've enjoyed in terms of that double duelist. Like, we've seen Yoru Rays become incredibly popular on this map. Of course, I think the last time G2 were playing this, they still had Nello in the roster, so a slightly different variation. I think Amy was even playing a Fade at that point, so this was where some of their roles were a little bit more questionable before Petra came back in and now picks up that Fade once again. This is where it looks like there's a lot more comfort in the roles that they're playing, but I think Mimi's Yoru is something I've been really pleasantly surprised by, because I think that there's no doubt that if you've watched like any streams or anything like that over the last few years of hers, her individual ability is very impressive, but it's always been a utility that I think has been maybe even second to none within EMEA at least. So the fact that she now gets to sort of put both into combination playing the Yoru, it's just enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I love it here in Seoul, man. Those tech pauses, they never last longer than a minute, and I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite me. It's been enjoyable so far. Well,
don't worry, Pansy's going to be here soon.
Yeah, she has literally just arrived, I heard, so anything goes wrong, it's not my fault. Let's pin it on her. 1-0 start for G2, and it's the defensive side coming in with classics. But they're grouped up ready for this fight, and that's a double opening. Clem with 2 of her own. G2 having to battle tooth and nail to even keep this even. That's a great start already in terms of damage and the potential for this to be so much more.
If they wrap back through after the plant, they might be able to retrieve some weaponry, and that's exactly what Nova are planning to do. They've realized, okay, they've probably either fallen back or pushed into the site, so that's a couple of guns for us to try and play with.
Spike planted.
Especially that Guardian. We've already seen it in the last map, what G2 were able to do with that, forcing them into the open, but that forces Vanya and Amy into the fight. And well, luckily for G2, they were able to recover that. It was dangerous and it was costly, but G2 at least got themselves the round.
Yeah, but costly indeed. Yeah, you look at that from Nova's perspective, and the over on Corrode on the defensive side, they took a big gamble, stacked 4 players on A. It didn't work out. G2 went the other way this time. They take a big gamble. They stack 4 players on A. It absolutely does work out. So you got to be happy with that, and the potential here for so much more. Look at the buy-up from Clem, an Outlaw up against the majority Light and regen shields.
I'm interested. They've given both of the rifles to the duelists, who are normally going to be diving in. A lot of the time you want one of the backline players to have one of the guns, but clearly just having the faith in Mimi and Akita to try and make something work at this round.
You can respect it for sure, especially with the game that Mimi played in the previous. She was a devil even when it came to the classic play. For Nova, giving up control over Vents, this fight up in Heaven, risky for Sheer, at least a 1-to-1 trade to start this off, but the damage onto Mimi makes this even a little bit more favorable perhaps for the defensive side, if they can get a favorable fight. It's the late play from Vanya that worries me. You think about the impact she had even in that pistol round. You think back to Corrode as well, a couple of sneaky plays from herself and Akita. and holding on to that mid control as the wrap goes back towards A. I was thinking maybe they were going to meet up with her and go towards B Heaven, but instead they are happy to just leave her embedded in mid for presumably the entire round, and a light play up into Heaven from her to try to backstab.
This is where Clem should, in theory, be able to maybe farm up, but that's already the first shot going astray. Support has been rotating in from her teammate, though, and that's the main thing. They at least have an opportunity onto this cross. Shirazi clean with it. Amy will be there for the trade. That Guardian juggled into her hands, and well, Vanya, her patience paid off. The player in the site, though, is going to be traded once again. Amy in with the chance, but incredibly low on HP. Icebox, full health, knows exactly where her opponent is. And again, this round may be costly, but Nova, well, they're going to be happy that they at least got it over the line.
Yeah, well, look, it's better than a 3-0 down start, absolutely. But the amount of damage done by G2 here, that initial trade 1-to-1, but with how low Mimi was, that very well could have been a double opening for Nova that went unpunished. And instead, they still end up in a decent position with Mimi's being taken down by a quick transfer as a result of being 5 HP. And it still comes that close. Yeah, it's exciting, but on the other side for G2, now they come in with rifles. Because of the plant and the big play from Amy, you've got the Viper's Pit to work with as well. And the reinvestments on Nova's side mean that if they lose this, G2 get to catapult themselves further into the lead.
Also, a lot of the time with this explosive a comp, you are going to expect plants to be coming in. Early space taken, and Clem is gone immediately. It felt like less than a second had gone in this round, and she's going to bite the bullet. For G2, though, this isn't necessarily a call to arms. They can now be a little bit more patient. They've got lurks in both middle and B in case anybody tries to get aggressive. And now we kind of ask, how do we expect Nova to react?
For now, there's not much, but there we go. The drone down through middle from Nova. See nothing, but they hear that noise on A. Rotate from Alyssa. Having control can be fought for, but you just look at Icebox. Isolated on the site, it's going to get Shirazi in a spot where she wants to get that little more aggressive to support her teammate, but she goes down, and so does Icebox. Alyssa doing well, that third player not expected to be this close to A that early, but they're still down by 1. An ult for Mimi, a Viper's Pit as well. I mean, really take your pick of what you want to commit to that one, and even the stun. By the time those players get close, the stun has faded, and G2 grouping up. I mean, they are fish in a barrel if the spray came down, but instead it's Mimi with a very early wraparound inside the pit and a third kill in the round. She really has been having a series, in fact. With the Gravwell to buy even more time, we knew how this story was going to end. G2, 3-1. And for Nova, I think that puts their credits in the dirt.
Yeah, that's the trouble of having that very close prior round with the 2-weapon investment from G2. Again, though, you could just see how difficult a lot of these fights were from the Nova side. Like, caught out. I think there was even a fake teleport used as well by Mimi in the middle of that fight just to try and distract, try and almost put some doubt in the minds of the opponent. But more importantly, Amy has just been frying. 7-2 on the Viper. We said they were very good at playing this map even when she was on the Fade, but you put her on a Sentinel, you put her on Viper, and you just feel like you're going to get results.
I like Nova's idea. The gambles in these low buy rounds, often the way to play it. The mid push doesn't see anything from G2. Nova were hoping that someone would step out, look for the fight, look for the info. But even then, I mean, look at the position. Look at the position that's being held by Amy. She is ready for this. That is space that they know they've given up. And now Clem is going to be confused and frustrated as Amy shuts her down. Everything calculated, nothing unaccounted on the side of G2. And a 5 versus 4, the Pistols going to struggle to find any favorable fights here.
Spike dropped.
Yeah, not a lot of upgrades either.
Shadows.
Oh shit. He's just going to be playing around this site. The rotation has come in from a teammate as well, so maybe a chance at least for a little bit of damage, but she'll have to do it all while Mimi is going to make sure that and no more damage will be had. Icebox with the most expensive of the upgraded pistols, but 4 players to find them while they're even looking to just try and manage the orbs. It's going to be the plant even for Vanya afterwards, just to make sure that that Cosmic Divide comes online. And it's actually one of the maps where it really is a high impact ult because of how much you can section off on either the B cross or the A side cross as well. That Cosmic Divide can be a really problematic ult to play against.
Nova, so many ultimates close by. Economy about to be invested into this round. It is a big one for them, being 4-1 down, and a timeout comes out, really signifying the importance of this round number 6. For G2, a victory could see them skyrocket into the lead. They'll be 5-1 up, whether they get 2 orbs on Akita in the coming one and use the showstopper to convert that, or whether it's saved up for the future. You've got high impact ultimates for G2 about to come online. You've got some there as well with Mimi able to entry and avoid a lot of the dangers. Nova have to be so calculated in their approach to this round.
These 2 ults they already have, for me, are scary enough because, as said, Cosmic Divide allows you to basically cross into a site. Dimensional Drift allows you to know where everybody on the site is. Like, it's so easy to then punish the players that are there that you then almost force your opponents into being very aggressive early in the round or being aggressive through a Cosmic Divide, which is such a massive risk because you have no sound cues, you have no idea what's going on. So I am curious what's being discussed on the other side. But the good thing for Nova, and a good thing about this pause, is it's the first time you're going to see the operator. It's also an opportunity for many ults to come online throughout the round, so they can maybe challenge for certain positions to get those. And it's almost the turning point, because I feel like it goes much further, and this is terrifying. You get a round win here, and it's not.
Upshot is everything, but it's already going to be spotted, pushed back now. The stun goes into play, but Mimi sees the second player. Cosmic Divide now. Mimi's going to find that little bit of a gap in spawn. It's beautiful! Mimi taking down Alyssa, but the AWP of Clem still sitting around this site. She is searching, trying to find absolutely anyone, but Mimi's already faded out, gone back to the rest of the squad, as Sheer is able to slip past on the backside. Nova with the lifeline! Sheer dominance on the B site as they find their second, a much-needed round.
I think that was a TP into the back corner as everybody was trying to sort of battle and brawl on the other side of it. She managed to just take the timing to get herself into the back of the site. Brilliant stuff from her individually, and honestly saved the round. As said, it can be very difficult once you're sectioned out by that Cosmic Divide to get much done. But a huge individual play has given them that round. Sheer now tops it for her squad, and oh, very interesting purchase coming out from G2. Not quite the credits to fully invest, although saying that, EMEA has enough to drop a rifle, and maybe one player would have been low. They've gone in with a couple of classics here.
Oh, this is risky, though, running through the pit. Already one player has snuck past. Alyssa didn't seem aware. Another showstopper right on Shirazi's feet. Down goes the pit. And Nova, well, they are spiraling here. Rifles picked up for the remaining players in G2. 5 versus 3. And look at the position of Amy. With the plant coming in on B, if you expect this, you're a giga brain like I've never seen. But that flank has a timer on it, and it's going to take a while to come into play. The smoke that's gone up in heaven, though, might just buy them that time.
And a flank. Wow, that's going to be something. Clem has managed to take down Mimi. That puts them in a bit of a box, actually, while that flank is still coming. Icebox has done well, but Vanya's still standing strong. And now Amy strikes. She's been waiting for a moment all the way through the round for Clem. This is not the position you want an operator. And well, the MasterCard's thrifty. It was a few guns, but still a few missing. But it really didn't matter when Akita plays like that.
I didn't even get a chance to say it, that like, oh, maybe they're buying up because like if Akita gets a pick, you've got the showstopper. The fact that she walks through the pit, finds Alyssa off guard, then gets the Viper, opening that road for her teammates to just barrel into the B site, and then allowing Amy to have this super late flank that really cannot be expected. And credit to them, they did turn to look at heaven just as she peaked. But Yeah, EMEA was a little quicker on the trigger. 5-2, and Nova left onto an eco.
The really upsetting thing, though, for Nova is, like, you see some of these, again, these brilliant individual plays that bring them around, and you go, okay, this is the start. And the second that happens, somebody on G2 goes, oh, you think you're back in the game?
Yeah.
You're not. And just does exactly the same back. We saw that when they win a close round and then G2 manages to win one with pistols in the last map. That happened twice. One of them was a triple kill from Mimi with a classic. Like, it really has just been circumstances that you go, okay, this would be the worst possible time for that to happen. And then it happens.
There's incredible timing in mid as well, being able to slip past that Viper in the pit for G2. Nightfall online. Could be a good round to put it in up against those pistols. I don't mind going up towards this A site though. Lots of open ground, lots of ranged fights to take. Don't expect to see that Spike walking up into heaven. That's usually where the pistols will look for the battle, but it's on the other side that wants to fight G2. Oh, they have got Mimi down to 5 HP at least, so a chance with the 145 dink, but the big ult's going to be completely avoided. Another pop flash, Amy onto Clem. And the players from Nova crumbling, but still some potential with these Sheriffs. Icebox known on the backside, won't get much, and yeah, just like that, G2, another round on the board. The lead extended, and the pressure. It's going to get to Nova if they lose this next one.
If there was one salvo in that corner, that's 3 players wiped out. But there's just enough of a gap that they can survive around the edge of it. It's unfortunate. I definitely like the idea. The problem now is that was one of the few ults they had coming into this round, and there'll be nothing to be utilized other than maybe from the shadows, which, hey, very impactful last time. For something, for sheer, but 6-2 up on the attack side. G2. It's been a couple of blips, but everything else has just been exactly what you expect from a team that has been there, done that, got the t-shirt, has competed with multiple different variations of the roster, and is the only team other than Shopify that has got their hands on the Game Changers Champions Trophy. Not a bad start, though. Icebox going to win the fight versus Akita. A flash through is going to get rid of Amy as well. A little bit more aggression, but it's working out for them.
3v5, pressure up on Shirazi, but she gets hers before going down, and Sheer's there as well. 3 versus 1. Vanya low. They've done everything they need to convert this round on the side of Nova. Alyssa even tucked in a nasty spot. Will give no chance to G2. 6-3. The scoreline can close in from here. We can still be neck and neck at the half.
Yeah, and honestly, as said, like, this is the side of the map where G2 have favored to play. I know you've mentioned that the double duelist statistically has a lot of rounds defensively, but I do feel on this map as well, the attack thrives a little bit more.
This map, this meta as well, all that goes out the window, right? I think attack side's going to have a lot more trouble with getting into sites with the limited initiator utility, and maybe the double duelist will be something that is leaned on to sort of see that find success. Only time will tell.
Ooh, Amy under pressure. Clearing her has been an important part, and it came down to the 1 versus 1, but that's the second time that Icebox managed to win it. Shirazi holding on to the vents like her life depends on it. It did. With the remaining 2, it feels like Nova might have just found their momentum. It's left all onto Vanya, and she won't get anything.
A 2-round gap, but more importantly for Nova, a dominant round from them. This is somewhere that we've seen G2 have a lot of impact before, so it is definitely important to see them still look that little bit confident, getting aggressive in some of those early fights, but not overextending across the map and taking those last duels together. As Shirazi and Sheer swung out on middle. For G2, now they come in, rifles, Viper's Pit, and a Cosmic Divide. They can get to a site, and they can lock it down afterwards. Nova will have trouble dealing with that, and in fact, look at the B site. The defenders have nobody here. They're fully expecting a fight around middle, or at least they're wanting to take that control, but nobody seen again, as we've seen this from G2 a number of times, where they are very delayed in going for this control, but Clem's now spotted their intention. And that Prowler, along with the flash, not going to land on Clem, but the shot won't land on the G2.
challenge for mid has been a large part of either team. Makita is the one to take first blood. It's all of that Viper utility offline. That is not the player you want to lose in this contention, and while Clem's position is very much known, but the fact is, after taking that pick and the move to almost bolster up middle, it seems like G2 are very aware of the gap.
There's the drone down for the info, but they've already heard it. It's all about that op shot from Clem. The top rope landing its blow. Late play by Amy through middle hasn't been spotted yet, and often you'll expect that Viper to be with the squad. In fact, the flank is completely avoided now. They must have seen her because they even flashed back out into mid. But yes, this is why the pit coming back into play to try to lock this down in the post plant. Nade, right-clicked up top. Oh. It's beautiful from Makita. And with the pit to get towards the site, just about covering the spike. This is a very difficult retake for Nova. The slide good, but Mimi better. And it's down to the 1v1. Already low is Icebox, and that decay is going to take this from bad to worse. A spam from Amy would be enough, and the snake bite certainly will do the trick. 7 on the board for G2, a lead at the half already guaranteed.
Amy's just so calm under pressure. Like you'd see, like it's such a small detail, but a lot of people, the second it's tapped, you're gonna go, I'm gonna snake bite. She's like, okay, possibility of tap and then swing. I know the timing. This will be now where she's going for that second half. Now I use the snake bite. That's all the risk gone, because by that point she would have already been swung. You're not going to wait till 1 HP to do that. So just intelligent play from Amy, and that has been a lot of the story of this attack. Just her timing, her spacing, her decision making has been sublime. A 7th round, and while a showstopper with 2 targets and 2 targets taken. It's an assist from Mimi, even if it doesn't come up on the board, but for Akita, that's about as easy as it gets.
Yeah, really snuffing out their flame here, Nova. They came in shining bright, certainly in that first half of Corrode, but it seems like G2, they found their rhythm. As every note falls into place, Akita's 3rd. And Mimi looking for one on the backside, but it will be Petra to get yet another, hitting that final note as G2 end this half 8-4 in the lead.
Yeah, looking very good on that attack side as expected. And of course for Nova, we knew this was always going to be a tough battle. It's now an uphill one. They'll have to try and find a response after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, folks, as we get into our Coinbase Econ report. Looking back at that first half, Tom, I mean, there's a couple of standout players, but you got to say, those showstoppers from Akita, they always found their mark.
It was a toss-up between, I think, her and Amy for who was going to be the highlight on this one, but I think she swayed it in the last round with a little bit of help from Mimi. But yeah, I think a lot of her, especially in middle, her openers were really tough to play against. And I don't think that's going to change going into the second half. A likely roam of the map for the duelist. I think that, again, like you talk about this squad in particular, and I think also you've got to put Shopify in the mix as well, of how they set up their duelists better than anyone else. Even the secondary duelists will do it a lot of the time, but I am also excited to see how Amy will look to fight into middle, and more importantly, how Nova are going to deal with her, because she has been having a phenomenal game on the lurk. Now chances are you're going to have a better idea of where she is. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy to deal with her when she's currently 13-6 on the board.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we saw for Nova, though, there were certainly some heroes over on Corrode, some big individual rounds from them, and maybe we have to hope for more of that as 8-4 down. This is the spot where the pistol carries a lot of weight. G2 with a chance to run away with this. That nade already posing a lot of danger, and Akita keeps on going. Shirazi, the one to fall, but Akita down to 10 HP. Stuck in that corner, dodges the flash, it's almost a freebie, but Icebox puts us back to level.
A nice attempt. Already though, multiple players left within the site. Now you can see that Mimi's actually going back to mid, just in case they try and double back in the other direction. Looking to try and lock them in with nowhere to go, but they are pressuring into what is now a stack up of the remaining players, a crossfire that seems impossible to deal with. It's left to Sheer to try and save the day, and now even from above, Mimi will look to wrap him from behind. There is nowhere safe, nowhere left to go. G2 claim yet another pistol. And while that mountain just got a little bit taller.
I have to agree with the sign down there. Mimi is unstoppable, certainly was going into that first map, but Amy and Akita maybe need to get added onto the card, especially Amy. 14-6 now.
Who's not on the card? Do you remember how Petra's map closed down the last one? I don't
Oh, she was popping off.
You're going to need a bigger card, is what I'm saying.
The whole roster needs to be on there. And so far, it does look like G2 in general are unstoppable. The side of Nova stalled out in this second half. There's 9-4 is already on the board, but we're likely looking at double digits. Classics across the board with the exception of Sheer. And already it seems like the early plan for that attacking side is to play the orbs, a slow round from them as they take orb and B main, move back towards mid, and isolating an individual fight will be difficult. 3 Spectres in play. Honestly, this is the perfect map for it. We talked about the ability of that weapon now when it comes to ranged fights is insane, but then you add on to that the fact that there's plenty of close range duels that you can take here as well. It really feels like an all-rounder on Split.
And again, it seems like they've got the right read. Multiple players already here. Early utilities, not a bad start though. Clem's done well. That's a player drop. Clem with the classic. Seems to do so much damage all of the time, and now Shirazi's adding another. This is starting to get very interesting indeed. A chance to give themselves a lifeline, and Clem is looking to do it all. It's left to Petra, who doesn't know there's another on the cross. And hey, that's one way to find a response. A MasterCard Thrifty, and Nova, well, they're not dead just yet.
I was thinking this was the beginning of the end. Once that pistol went to G2, it really felt like the first bit of soil dropped on the coffin.
There as well.
Absolutely. And they managed to come out on top for Nova, a 9-5 scoreline, and an immediate start to this half. Honestly, it is better than winning the pistol round. Not only because G2 being so damn good with the classics, but Nova get this massive boost to the economy. Now sitting with full rifles coming into the third round, and G2 left in the dirt. I won't dare to suggest what the scoreline should be coming out of this round, just in case, but Nova's certainly looking favored.
That's the good thing. The 3 players buy up. The other 2 have the Spectres, and as you said, versus, well, normally versus a low buy, it's very good, as you are witnessing. Shirazi under pressure, but, well, they're running through the snake bite. Oh, taste of her own medicine, maybe? Can Vanya deliver? No, she cannot. That's fantastic. A flawless back. A huge boost in terms of orbs as well for Shirazi, which, hey, you're going to want a Viper's Pit as early as possible. And more importantly, the credits through the roof.
I was watching to see Nova's investment because after that, you know, still playing with the Spectre, it's not a bad idea, but they've decided to drop one of the two, upgrading to a Phantom on Shirazi.
I think Shirazi gets 4 kills and you go, actually, I've got so many credits, I might as well spend some.
And not just that, give her a better chance to find that opening duel, to add an orb to the tally, to get that Viper's Pit in post-plant, which would be so important in a round like this. G2 investing. Losing this for the defensive side means Nova are right back in the game. And already, they've sent a player running. They haven't claimed that space all too easily.
This is a full 5 as well. Like, there is no luck. There is nobody left on the other side of the map. This is an all-in gamble play from the side of Nova. But they've got to make it out of this choke first.
Petra's been spotted on the backside. Akita good for just one. But Mimi and Petra, they're delivering and stopping Nova in their tracks. A 7th round not likely to find its way into their hands. We talked about Shirazi, 46 HP now, and still 2 orbs away from that Viper's Pit. I don't think she's looking to plant here in the spawn. And with 45 seconds on the clock, yes, she could walk into B. She could get the plant. But it looks like we're playing the long game here. Carrying the weapon forward is the aim of this game.
Yeah, she has the credits that you could take a risk, but you're going to look at this and go, okay, I've got 46 HP. There's 4 of them alive. Maybe 1 or 2 of them have already rotated to the B site. Maybe there's one in mid. Like, I don't know any of the positions. And realistically, okay, an orb for me would be nice, but an orb for them would be damning. So I think just got to let this one slip away, unfortunately. And hey, you have an extra few credits going forward. Maybe that's another buy if things don't go to plan, or if but you lose 4 players in a round victory. So definitely understandable. For G2, though, an immediate response. Once they get the buy back in, 4 players alive will be a build-up of economy for them as well. And with Petra finding a fair few, that's going to be her now 2 away from her ultimate. We do have the Seekers online. I feel like Seekers is one of those ults, though, that it is very, very situational.
Yeah, it certainly can be. And for Nova, they've called a timeout. And interestingly enough, because they've had that time during the save to sort of think over and talk over what they want to do, but now the coaching staff wanting to get a word in. As Gamble will touch base with the crew. 4 rounds to make up that gap. G2 on the defensive side. Again, compositionally, they've got a lot to work with when it comes to the ultimates that are going to be coming online in the next round or 2. And if Akita gets that showstopper out, well, it has seemingly been a win condition for them every single time, ticked the second that X is clicked.
It's a tough situation. You come in as underdogs. You have your surprise pick of Corrode. Like, I don't think G2 could have really seen that one come in, but I also think coming into this, it's the classic phrase that's used in interviews, we're just going to play our own game, but I truly believe that from G2. Like, I don't think they will have sat there and massively looked to try and counter what Nova were doing in their region, because I think it is a different level of competition altogether once you get here, but also they will have had their own theory and their own crafting coming into this mass meta change, that you know that you're going to come up across very different things to what we've seen before anyway. As you can currently see, like, this composition is definitely not the norm out from Nova. I will say, though, that Teo, I'm yet to really see what it brought to the table.
There were some ideas there with, like, denying the heaven control with the ult and some of the salvos clearing corners, but I agree with you. I think it has been underwhelming. The composition brought in by Nova. It's always nice to see innovation. It's always nice to see new things tried, but
variety is the spice of life.
Yes.
But sometimes you don't like the spice.
It's maybe too spicy. G2, oh, snake bite down. This is a safe corner, though, for Shirazi. It hasn't quite extended as much as they'd hoped, and Mimi, getting a bit curious, ends up being dropped by Clem. Now the Seekers go out. Situational, but this is the perfect situation as they clear this A site completely. And the spike can move towards it. Late play coming through mid from Alyssa, but she's now being caught. That's a pick back in the other direction, and G2 don't need to get ahead of themselves in looking for a fight, but Nova want to. They're looking into the spawn off the Sky Flash, but it's fairly easily dodged. That went all the way around the corner. Paranoia doesn't land on Amy, but the rest are blinded up. Banya stuck in the corner, and Shirazi's third, lands, Akita up close, won't find the double, and another big round from Shirazi keeps Nova's beating heart alive.
This map has felt like the battle of the Vipers, which, considering some of the explosive plays we've seen elsewhere, that paranoia as well was superb, because the initial flash didn't land, but the second one left two completely blind as they went in to try and take the fight. The timing couldn't be better, and for Shirazi, well, the trade's ever important, but that final kill, the most of the lot. 10-7. A round that makes a mass difference, because although they had a large amount of bank to spare, G2 on the other hand did not. They are down to Sheriffs.
They've made it work before. Classic up close. I got so worried.
Oh, it's close. 46 health.
And the right click not as kind as it has been in the past. Drone coming through from Alyssa towards B main, has spotted players, but Akita somehow gets one and gets out. At B main aggression as well, PC. Having been spotted, but Mimi has TP'd back, now looking for the fight up into heaven as Vanya goes down. Yeah, it's going to be tough to find more here. Akita on the cross. Good damage! Spike dropped up in heaven. Mimi might not be expected quite this quickly, and now Mimi's going to have some help as the showstopper soon to be popped, I'd imagine. This is the round for it. This happened before. Shirazi in the pit and will be caught yet again by the showstopper. But it's left onto Petra. 1 versus 2. It seems like Nova may have stumbled, but they will not fall. Not just yet, unless Petra's got a big play up her sleeve. Already isolating one. The reveal is there. The reload needed. And now her opponent rounds the corner to destined death. Petra puts them in their place with an 11th round for G2.
Just insanity. There were so many moments in this round where I was thinking, okay, that will be what turns it. Maybe the showstopper will do it, but the Red Bull clutch at a 1v2 with the Sheriff, nah. I didn't think she made that. I didn't even use the Nightfall. Had it in her back pocket, was like, I don't need it. I'm going to isolate these fights, and well, ever so impressive. It's got to be difficult as well when you just see her smiling and laughing on the other side of the stage. That is someone who has such a wealth of experience. There was never any fear in Petra's heart for that one. Akita about to be pressured, but yeah, you just can't. You can't make it through that orb while someone is spamming. And well, you didn't even get close to it, in fact.
That's tough.
Look on the map where that was. That was just on the corner. That was just a little pre-fire.
Clearly Amy knows her angles, but who's surprised by that?
Yeah, no way.
And now Nova losing out on their omen. They have that Viper wall already placed down. Akita does well to find one. It's the numbers kept in favor for G2. Although the regen shields will help Clem recover a bit of that lost HP. Advantage still sitting firmly with the defensive side.
It did actually land onto Alyssa, so they do still know that there's somebody around mid, but the Prowler not going far enough to track her down. And with Heaven now cleared, it starts to narrow down. Vanya, also someone that knows her angles. Yeah, I don't think you're regenerating that one, Clem. 3 health. They've got 30 seconds, and it doesn't seem like this is getting any easier.
Oh, grab well. That slowed down the rest of the squad, and it's only a 3 HP Clem who's made it out to the side. Amy shutting her down, saving Vanya's life as the smoke goes up, and now how do you get out? You just gotta walk through this with Amy and Vanya holding you as if you had a chance. G2, 12 on the board, just like Corrode. They have 5 chances to close out this map. The difference being, this is their pick, and they seem to be hitting another level here.
Just straight up spam for the first. And then towards the end, it's just an attempt to try and get anywhere near her teammate. She was not having it. Sometimes Vanya is the one to take everybody's life, but sometimes she needs protecting, and that's where Amy comes in. 12-7. The buy, it stinks. I think the only thing really there is going to be that overdrive, a chance to try and close the gap, but Akita is ready and waiting. Clem gone.
Yeah, Clem wanted to put the pressure onto Petra there. She was stuck in the corner and still will be. Dodges that flash again. Great wall that they have in play here. Got to give credit to Amy. We've seen that already have impact in previous rounds. And here maybe more so than ever.
Go ahead.
Still have that Omen to play with, but no smoke down, and Mimi has a field day with that, covering the cross back as well. Alyssa pre-fires it and forces her off the angle. The paranoia sends her further back, and Sheer is walking down on the back of it. Even suspects that that's the decoy as Alyssa finds one. Sheer could have a beautiful flank, but doesn't want to risk it, and I like it. I think the discipline here is far more valuable than rolling the dice on that flank and being isolated. The 2 versus 2, but it's Amy and Vanya that you're up against.
Yeah, the From the Shadows could be used as a recon. Her staying alive, fairly integral. G2 with a chance to end the map. Alyssa, a chance to get an ace. She's stuck in the backside, but still swings out. One more needed to individually win the round for her team, but that's where her teammate will come in. A 4K for Alyssa to keep them in the map, maybe the most important one they've had so far.
Oh yeah, that was looking very rough on the surface, but they cut through that like a knife on the side of Nova. A much needed win, 4 rounds in a row still to be connected, and they ran into a lot of issues here, but Alyssa, you know, you said we might not have seen what we needed to from that Tejo, but hey, we've seen what we needed to from Alyssa in that round.
Yeah.
That's brought them back into it. Give them a boost of morale. Perhaps Viper's Pit in play. Now, we've seen this a number of times towards mid, but this time Amy in a very narrow
spot.
choke point. I mean, she kind of needs to push forward to hold that control, but Clem is already past the pit, so standing in that tight corner, really the only option she's left with. Prowler up top has caught Clem, though.
Yeah, that's important information. And in fact, it seems like we're going to get a push on 2 fronts. One of them is in the form of Akita, and then Amy's also managed to find Clem. This might be the beginning of the end, as they've had to try and fall back in a chance to try and reclaim mid, maybe catch the aggressive player in the form of Akita, but she's gone. She's dipped. She's, in fact, wrapping all the way back round just to fight with Mimi, and Mimi's gone, okay, well, let's just fall back and fight this one together. We have that advantage already.
Oh, Mimi! The double kill! And maybe the death blow delivered just like that. It will be a triple from Mimi to close this out in flawless fashion. G2 have given Nova courtesy enough, and they take it 2-0. An impressive series from Nova.